We're all excited about electric cars, right? But plugging them all in, well, that's a much bigger challenge than you'd think. We are on the verge of a total revolution in how we fuel our vehicles. But as we're about to find out, this smart new world comes with some pretty serious hidden risks. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first, let's just get a sense of the sheer scale we're dealing with. This isn't some slow, gradual change. As you can see from this chart, the number of EVs hitting the streets is about to go vertical. It's an explosion, and it's creating a demand for electricity like we've never seen before.
And get this, here's the number to keep in your head. By 2040, experts are predicting we'll have over 600 million electric vehicles on the road, globally. That is a staggering amount of new pressure on our power grids, which, let's be honest, are already feeling the strain.
So here's how we're going to unpack all this. First, we'll look at the coming power struggle. Then, we'll dive into the smart tech that's supposed to fix it and the wild future it could unlock. But then, we're going to ask the tough questions. Does this create a false sense of security? We'll expose the charger's Achilles heel. And finally, figure out whose job it is to make this all safe.
All right, so let's start with the central conflict, the big problem, the coming power struggle. To put it bluntly, our electrical infrastructure just wasn't built for an EV revolution of this magnitude. And listen, this is not some theoretical problem for the future. It's happening right now. In the Netherlands, a major grid operator has actually proposed shutting down public EV chargers during peak evening hours from 4 to 9 p.m. just to stop the grid from crashing. That's the reality we're facing.
But you know, a huge challenge like this, it often sparks incredible innovation. And that brings us to the hero of our story, or at least the supposed hero, smart charging technology.
At the heart of it all is this international standard called ISO 15118. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like a universal language. It lets your car, the charger, and the power grid all talk to each other seamlessly. This digital conversation is what makes all the cool stuff possible, like smart charging and even vehicle-to-grid, or V2G, where your car can actually sell power back to the grid.
So what's the big promise here? Well, it really boils down to three main things. Making charging way more efficient for the grid, making it super simple and friendly for you, the driver, and of course, making the whole process more secure. And a perfect example of that user-friendly part is a feature called Plug and Charge. This is a game changer. It means your car automatically identifies itself to the charging station. You just plug in, and that's it. No more messing around with different apps or credit cards, the authentication, the billing. It all happens automatically in the background.
And this smart standard isn't just about fixing today's problems. It's unlocking a seriously wild future for how we fuel up. So let's take a quick lightning round tour of what the industry thinks is coming down the pike as soon as 2026.
I mean, just look at this stuff. We're talking about AI managing the entire energy flow to stop blackouts before they start. Ultra-fast charging becoming the norm. That bidirectional charging we mentioned, V2G, actually letting you make money from your car's battery. And on top of all that, new business models, a more seamless network, and maybe even hubs that offer both electric charging and hydrogen fuel. It's a massive shift. Okay, it all sounds pretty amazing, right? Grid problem solves, easy charging for everyone, a cool, futuristic industry. But this is where our story takes a very sharp turn. Because this elegant solution might just be creating a dangerous false sense of security. It turns out, for every problem it solves, it might be creating a brand new one. So, with this amazing smart standard in place, we're all good, right? Problem solved? Yeah, not quite. In fact, things are about to get a whole lot more complicated. Now, let's be fair, ISO 15118 does a fantastic job on some things. It uses really strong encryption for that conversation between the car and the charger. So old school attacks like session hijacking, where someone could literally steal your charging session and bill it to you, are much harder to pull off now. That's a huge win. But the standard doesn't make the risk disappear. It just moves it. See, before, a hacker might go after a single isolated charging station to steal some data. Now, with everything being centralized through a back-end provider, they have one massive, juicy target that holds the data for thousands, maybe millions of users. And this is the crucial part. The most advanced, exciting features are the very things that create brand new, terrifying dangers. With vehicle-to-grid, it's suddenly possible for a hacker to remotely and secretly damage your car's battery, by far its most expensive part. Or even crazier, they could use thousands of cars all at once to launch a coordinated attack on the power grid itself. These risks simply did not exist before this technology.
All of this points to one central vulnerability, what you could call the charger's Achilles heel. Because for all the smart software and encryption, the physical charging station itself remains the weakest link in the entire chain.
Think about it. That conversation between your car and the charger might be wrapped in layers of digital security. But what about the physical box? The hardware you're plugging your expensive car into every day? The standard doesn't really have anything to say about securing that.
And that opens up a whole can of worms. These stations are often in public, unattended places, making them easy to tamper with. Many are built using cheap, insecure, off-the-shelf parts. Hackers have shown they can trick them with fake security certificates or, and this is really bad, command a charger to send dangerous levels of power into a vehicle. The standard basically assumes the charger is trustworthy without ever actually checking if its hardware or software is secure.
So what's the solution? We can't just scrap all this incredible technology. The answer has to be about recognizing that security is a shared responsibility. This isn't one company's problem to solve. It absolutely requires a team effort.
Everybody has to step up. The companies that make the chargers, they need to build tougher, more secure hardware. Those back-end service providers, the EMSPs, they have to lock down that centralized user data. The grid operators need to secure their smart grid communications. And finally, the car manufacturers themselves have to build stronger security features directly into the car.
And all of this leaves us with one last big question. In a world where our cars, our homes, and our entire power grid are all connected, where does security truly begin and end? The tough answer is that it's a chain. And right now, that chain is only as strong as its weakest link.